There was a game that stood out to me, and the game that I lost. I lost as far as the picks are concerned. The Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, and what really bothered me at that game is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, who was the MVP last year, he's been a sensational quarterback since he's come into the league. Go look at his record against teams over 500. He is under 500 against teams over 500. He can't beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. He can't beat the Kansas City Chiefs. He can't beat anybody good on his schedule. And to me, maybe that's the reason why they couldn't get out of the first round last year. They couldn't get out of the second round the year before that. He's had problems every single year in the playoffs. So what is your thoughts to Lamar Jackson? Do you think Lamar Jackson is a quarterback that you could depend on moving forward, especially in the playoffs, with all the talent that they have? Or are you going to have to worry about them moving into the playoffs this year with the Pittsburgh Steelers 7-0? They're going to be 8-0 this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lamar Jackson is obviously one of the best players in the league. And, obviously it's not just him losing the game. That Pittsburgh defense is stifling. They have a great front seven, and they're built to beat Lamar Jackson and his team. It's about putting the players around your team that can thrive and to help you put you in the situations. But, as far as the playoffs go, it's always tough because I'm big into a quarterback who, with 2 minutes left, they can drive down the field and throw the ball and get you that touchdown that you need. Is Lamar Jackson that guy? Yes, I think he is. He has the accuracy. He has that run pass opportunity to move the chains and to get you down the field. But so I do think he is the right player. He's the right player to lead this team. And I think that eventually, as they continue to grow, they will be a playoff team, and that will thrive in the playoffs, and you'll see him in the championship.
I hope, because I picked him to go to the Super Bowl, and they have the most talent, but I don't know about that. Last week, 13 for 28, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I'm not saying Ben Roethlisberger had one of those great games, because he didn't. And Ben's not the reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers are 7-0. That's not the reason why. It's their defense. Their defense has played well, and Lamar Jackson had a chance to win the game. He did. And then he ran the wrong way, and you saw Pittsburgh is going to defend you in the middle. They're going to close the gaps. They're going to make you run on the outside. Knowing that, Lamar Jackson knows that. Why is he running down the middle? It made no sense, and I believe he cost the Baltimore Ravens a chance to win that game. That's just me. So I disagree. I don't know if Lamar Jackson is the guy to win the big game. I don't see it. I haven't seen it. Until he proves that he can, I don't believe it. Seattle – I am going to look at – I'm going at the games over here. I'm looking at the Buffalo game right here. I have it right over here, Speedy. The Dolphins versus the L.A. Rams. What did you think about that game? I mean, the Dolphins were unbelievable defensively. Everybody keeps talking about Tua, how good Tua looked. Go look at Tua's statistics. They weren't statistics that really stood out to me. I mean, I didn't think Tua was like, wow, Tua's that much better than every single quarterback we've seen. He was 12 for 22, 93 yards, 1 touchdown. The defense was sensational. They stopped one of the best offenses in the league. Sean McVay, who's one of the gurus when it comes to offensive coordinators in the league. What did you think about the Rams? Did you think they choked in that game, or is the Dolphins that good?
Well, it's a combination. It's tough to fly, from LA to Miami, play an early game. So they obviously, weren't clicking on offense. But I think you got to give credit to Brian Flores in that Miami defense. They were playing well. They were flying around. They're forcing turnovers. The special teams, I believe, had a touchdown as well. So it was a team game. And when you have a young quarterback, everyone has to play well around him. You can't put the whole game on a rookie quarterback's shoulders. And that's how it should be. Yes, there are going to be times where they need to be consistent throwing the ball down the field and make some big plays, which I think he has the ability to do. But right now, let's ease them in. You know what I mean? They're above where they thought they would be right now. The Miami Dolphins are. I don't think that anyone in the organization expected them to have a record of 4-3 right now. So they're over expectations, and they're stealing time right now. They're getting opportunities for Tua to come in, get some good reps, and steal some games. Why not put him in there to try to lead the way and let him, I guess, calm down and mold himself into that starting quarterback.
Well,
I really do like Brian Flores in the way he coaches, though.
I almost cut you off, but one of the games that really stands out this week is Kyler Murray versus Tua. I mean, these guys played against each other in college. They're very fun, very electrifying. Both of them can run, throw the ball. So I'm excited about that. I believe Speedy, that's one of the games that Speedy's going to pick. I think that's the game of the week this week. I really do believe it because both teams are fighting for a playoff spot. Kyler Murray has been sensational. They're 5-2. Arizona, they have a chance to win the division. They really do. Believe it or not, in that division, one of the hardest divisions in football, they can absolutely win that division. And it's not because of Kingsbury. That's for sure. His play calling is horrendous. But Kyler Murray is slowly but surely turning into like what we talk about Russell Wilson. Young, he can run inside and out of the pocket. He can throw the ball. He's a sensational quarterback. Another game that stood out to me was the Vikings in Green Bay. I have no idea what's going on with Green Bay, but they better figure something out because I don't care what Aaron Rodgers says at the end of the game, and he blames himself. He puts it all on himself. That was not Aaron Rodgers' fault against Minnesota. It was not. This has a lot to do with some of the other guys trying to find ways to open up. They didn't have any running game in that game, maybe because Aaron Jones wasn't playing. I understand that. They haven't had a running game since Aaron Jones has gotten hurt. They don't really have that secondary wide receiver. The defense, I don't know what's going on in the secondary. They got to wake up. They cannot let the Minnesota Vikings, who have been one of the worst teams in the second half offensively, score all over you in the third and fourth quarter. You cannot do that. Minnesota is not that good. So what did you think about that game?
Well, I mean, listen, it's a division game, and you can throw all the records out the window when you play within the division. You know, these two teams, I mean, you have so much familiarity with one another, and, you know, it's a couple of plays in the game which can determine the outcome of it. You know, I do think that they did let off the gas. You know, I thought that they definitely disappointed in that game against the Vikings. But the Vikings have a ton of talent. I mean, there's a lot of players on that team. You know, Dalvin Cook is one of the leading rushers in the league. You know, Adam Thielen is a premier receiver. Justin Jefferson is up for Rookie of the Year. You know, they have a lot of talent on that team. So it's not a surprise. I think more of the surprise is how bad they've been playing throughout the season. But I will give Green Bay credit. You know, they went out to San Francisco on Thursday night and handled their business against the 49ers and absolutely dominated. So, you know, this is one of those games where, you know, Green Bay, they didn't perform as well as they should, but, you know, you're going to go through the ups and downs in the season, and they definitely bounced back this week as they played the 49ers.
And the Raiders and the Browns, ladies and gentlemen. I will say this. The Raiders are for real. I think that if they squeak into the playoffs, nobody is going to want to play them in the first round as a wild card team. Not on any of these second team guys or second team offensive players that we've seen over the last couple of years. We will fix that, Speedy. But the Raiders are a team that I believe with Derek Carr and John Gruden, they're for real. And I think their offense and their defense have proven that they can compete in games. The Browns, in the last couple of weeks, I don't want to hear about Odell Beckham. I don't want to hear about Baker Mayfield. I don't want to hear about anything because this team, when it comes to adversity, this team doesn't show up in games. When they're playing teams that they can compete with, they play well. When they have to play teams that they need to beat and they should beat and they have to beat, they don't beat them. They should have beaten the Raiders. They're the better team. They have the more talent on the team, and they don't. They come out flat against a team that, to me, is still growing. The Raiders are not ready yet to say they're a Super Bowl contending team. I think they're 1 year away from being a Super Bowl contending team. And again, they went in with the Browns at the Browns and destroyed them. Absolutely destroyed them on both sides of the ball. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I think the Raiders defense really stepped up last week. You know, they had a great performance holding the Browns to 2 field goals. You know, that's a great performance right there. You got to give them their props. But then you look at the Raiders, and they dominated the line of scrimmage. You know, Josh Jacobs rushed for 129 yards. You look at Derek Carr's stats. I mean, 15 for 24, 111 yards and a touchdown. I mean, those aren't anything to write home about. But at the same time, this is what end of the season football is about. It's about winning the line of scrimmage, playing great defense, running the football, and having your quarterback not, you know, give you turnovers and converting in the red zone. And that's what the Raiders did. You know, I do think they're a very solid team. I think John Gruden is doing a great job of growing that team. They're kind of molding themselves into the team that he wants them to. You know, they're playing tough. They're gritty. They dominate the line of scrimmage. And, you know, just like the Miami Dolphins, these two teams are building themselves for success, and they're starting the right way.
And the last game I really want to talk about is Monday Night Football. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New York Giants. I actually picked the Giants to win the game, and I thought the Giants had a chance to win the game. Leonard Williams looks like he's going to be a Pro Bowl player this year. He's been sensational in the 4-3 defense, really been good, and this defense has really shown up. This is a good defense. The Giants' defense is good. Did you see Tom Brady slam his helmet on the sidelines? You can see that he's frustrated. And here's the thing. I believe as good and as talented as Tampa is, I think they have deficiencies on that offensive line. And if you can spread that defense out and get to Tom Brady and throw Tom Brady off, you can win the game. We've seen this in the Super Bowl with the New York Giants in 2007 and 2011. And we even saw it with the Philadelphia Eagles a couple of years ago in Super Bowl. They got to Tom Brady. They threw him off in the fourth quarter. So I'm telling you right now, the Buccaneers, everybody keeps saying the Buccaneers are Super Bowl contenders. They're going to win the Super Bowl this year. They have so many deficiencies on certain sides of the ball that if you can figure it and you can locate it, you can absolutely attack it. So what did you think about the Buccaneers against the Giants and how good the Giants looked in certain aspects of their game?
Well, I mean, just to talk about the Giants real quick, I do think that they are moving in the right direction. Their record doesn't show it, but they've been in 3 or 4 games that they easily could have won. They are lacking some talent, but listen, they play with heart. Daniel Jones, I think, is doing a good job. I wish he would get rid of some of those bonehead turnovers because I think at the end of the day, those 2 interceptions are what caused them the game. But as far as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, they're a team that, Byron Leftwich doesn't always put them in the right position, but I think that he and Tom Brady are starting to get on the same page along with Bruce Arians. And Tom Brady's a competitor. I mean, you're going to see him slam his helmet because he understands that, when he makes a mistake, it's unacceptable. When his teammates make mistakes and they drop passes, it's unacceptable. That's not the way that he's gone throughout this league. But listen, they have a ton of talent. They're getting another addition in Antonio Brown. Guys are getting more seasoned. They're getting accustomed to one another. And the great part about this is their defense is how they've been winning games. Todd Bowles is doing a phenomenal job on defense. They're applying pressure. I think they have 3 of the best linebackers in the league. And, on the defensive line, they get after you as well. So this team is built for the playoffs. And if I'm Bruce Arians, if I'm the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm not concerned right now. I'm more concerned about getting this team moving in the right direction so they can peak when you get to December and January.
Mr. Eric, go look at Bruce Arians' record as a head coach in the playoffs. It's not good.
Well, I'll look at Tom Brady's, and I'll be good with that.
Well, he had Bill Belichick. That's a completely different guy.
Well, look at what Bill Belichick is doing right now without Tom Brady. So
stop this.
I'm riding with the talent all day. They're the ones that go out there and make the plays. Tom Brady is showing that he is still at the top of his game, and you can't really say as much for Bill Belichick.
You're going to honestly tell me right now if the Patriots they lost so many players because of COVID-19 for the season. If Tom Brady was the quarterback right now for the Patriots, they'd have a better record? Come on, Eric. You're out of your mind.
Are you kidding me? The Seattle Seahawks game where they're at the 1-yard line, they would have beat. They definitely would have won against the Seattle Seahawks. You look at last week, Tom Brady wouldn't make interceptions. Tom Brady wouldn't fumble the ball running down the field. Tom Brady's going to put them in position to win games, and that's the end of it.
And who's he going to? Who's he going to?
You better believe is that if Tom Brady's playing quarterback for the Patriots, I guarantee you at least half of those guys from the COVID list that aren't playing are going to play.
I agree with you on that. I will agree with you on that.
I will go with that. There's nothing in this world that you could tell me that the talent which goes out there and produces, goes out there and executes, goes out there and makes the catches, makes the throws, makes the tackles, is not more important than a coach.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Coleman is a Patriot fan. He's a Tom Brady fan. So beware.
Eric is the game of the football fan, and the players are the ones that go out there and make the sacrifices and put their necks on the lines, not the coaches.
Listen to a Patriot fan.
Patriots.